Okay, so picture this. The year is 1999. We're in Dublin, Ireland. Slane Castle.
80,000 people.
80,000 people, and the sound is just this wall, vibrating right through your chest.
Mhm.
And right there, center stage, is Robbie Williams. He's sweaty, he's manic, his eyes are just wide. He is at the absolute peak of his solo career.
I know exactly the moment you're talking about.
Right. So he stops the band. He looks out at this ocean of people who absolutely adore him.
And he spots someone.
He spots someone, he points right into the crowd, and his voice is just dripping with this, casual venom. He says, "There's somebody booing me down here that actually likes Gary Barlow."
And the crowd just goes silent for a second. Right?
Dead silent.
Yeah.
And then Robbie delivers the execution. He sneers and says, "He's not selling any more records now, girls. Let's face it, he's dead."
He's dead. I mean, wow. That's not just a rivalry.
No.
That is a public execution.
It was. And that single moment really defines the whole era we're digging into today. Welcome to StarScope Report.
Where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music industry shakeups, and all the drama behind the fame.
And today, we are unpacking maybe the most explosive, long-running feud in British pop history.
We're talking Robbie Williams versus Gary Barlow.
And the timing for this deep dive could not be better. Because as of today, January 27, 2026, there's a brand new 3-part documentary. It's just called Take That, and it has just dropped on Netflix.
Plus, we're still kind of riding the wave from Robbie's huge biopic from last year, Better Man.
Which, yes, features him as a CGI chimpanzee, but we will absolutely get to that.
We have to talk about the monkey.
You will. But the mission here is to answer that big question. Why did they hate each other so much? We're going to look at the Lord of the Flies environment that broke them, the financial stuff that fueled the fire.
And the phone call about a Star Wars villain that somehow finally brought peace.
Right. But to understand the hate, you have to go back to the beginning.
You really do. Because on the surface, in 1990, take Pale. That just looked like 5 best friends having the time of their lives.
Exactly. You had Gary, Robbie, Mark Owen, Jason Orange, and Howard Donald. But if you really dig into the sources, especially the new doc, it wasn't a brotherhood.
Right.
It was a rigid class system. And it was all built on cash and control.
And that is the key. People miss this.
Yeah.
It wasn't just, they didn't get along. It was structural.
Mm.
Gary Barlow wasn't just the lead singer. He was the sole songwriter.
And in the music industry, songwriting,
Yeah.
that's where the real money is. I mean, let's just break that down for a second because it's so important.
Yeah, please do.
A band performs, they might split the fee 5 ways, but when a song is sold or played on the radio or streamed, the writer gets the publishing royalties.
So while the other 4 guys are getting their cut, Gary is building a legitimate fortune.
Let's paint the picture. You have Gary Barlow, who's living in a manor house.
A manor house.
A sprawling estate with a butler.
No way. He had a butler.
He had a butler named Maurice. I mean, can you imagine? You're all in the same boy band wearing the same leather outfits.
Doing the same dance moves.
And one of you goes home to Maurice the butler, and Robbie Williams is going home to live with his mother in Stoke-on-Trent.
That creates an immediate disconnect. You can't be best mates when one of you is basically the boss and the other's an employee.
It breeds resentment, and the sources all point out that this was made worse by the management style. Their manager, Nigel Martin Smith, built the entire operation around Gary.
Gary was the project.
He was the next George Michael. The strategy was just keep Gary happy. The others, they're just window dressing.
Robbie actually says this in his 2023 documentary.
Mm-hmm.
He said, it seemed like there was one person being managed in Take That, and it was Gary Barlow.
And that feeling of assurance versus coldness is so fascinating. Gary had the assurance of being the golden boy. He knew his future was safe.
Right.
Robbie felt the coldness. He knew he was the disposable one. If he messed up, he was gone.
It's what he later called Lord of the Flies stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You take these really young men, you stick them in this pressure cooker, and you basically pit them against each other.
And Robbie was the youngest. He joined when he was 16. By the time the band is huge, he's barely out of his teens, and he is just spiraling.
We're talking about a bottle of vodka before rehearsals.
Just to get through the day.
And then ecstasy and cocaine every night.
Mm-hmm.
He was completely self-medicating to deal with a reality where he felt totally worthless.
But the breaking point, it wasn't a fight in the studio. It happened in a muddy field with the Gallagher brothers. And it led to a meeting that completely changed pop history.
The infamous Glastonbury incident, 1995.
Picture it. It's the absolute height of Britpop. Oasis is the coolest band on the planet. They are everything. That is not.
Right, they're anti-establishment rock and roll.
And there, partying with the Gallaghers, is Robbie Williams.
He looked absolutely insane in those photos. That bleached blonde hair, he was all disheveled.
And he was missing a tooth.
He was missing a tooth.
A tooth is just gone. A gap in his smile. Management sees this and they freak out. This is not the brand. This is treason.
So Robbie walks into rehearsals for the Nobody Else tour, probably hungover, maybe still missing that tooth.
And the band, Gary, Jason, and Howard with management, they sit him down.
This is it. The moment.
And they tell him, we want to do this tour as a 4-piece. They give him the option to leave.
That's just firing him.
It's firing him, and Robbie says, something just snapped. He quits. Right then and there.
He's 21 years old.
21. He walks out of the room, and he is gone.
And think about what happens next. He's an addict. He's jobless. And as all the sources highlight, he had zero mental health support. No one looked after him.
He called it a matrix-bending washing machine of fame with no safety net.
Yeah.
And the narrative at the time was so clear. Gary Barlow is the genius. He's the next Elton John.
And Robbie is the fat dancer from Take That who got lucky and blew it.
But then we get one of the greatest inversions in pop culture history.
And a twist. Because everyone thought Gary would win.
Let's look at the stats. 1997, Robbie releases Angels.
Becomes a global anthem.
Yeah.
He's suddenly an icon.
And meanwhile, Gary.
Oh, it's brutal. His second solo album stalls at number 35. By 1999, his label, RCA, drops him.
And this is where the vengeance really kicks in. Robbie didn't just want to win. He wanted to destroy Gary. He admits it.
He said he wanted to crush him.
He's on stage in front of thousands of people calling him a clueless wanker. He says the band had the creativity of mentally unstable morons.
It's so toxic.
Yeah.
But psychologically, it actually makes sense.
How so?
Robbie is just projecting all of his pain onto the one person who represented the system that hurt him. Gary was the face of the machine.
Right. But while Robbie is playing to, 80,000 people at Nebworth, Gary is living an absolute nightmare.
And this is what the new doc really sheds light on.
It really does. Gary didn't leave his house for 13 months.
13 months.
Oh.
That detail is heartbreaking.
He hit 17 stone. He was suffering from bulimia. He described it as having to kill the pop star inside himself just to survive.
Wow.
He would literally hide under his piano because he'd forgotten how to write songs.
It's a complete reversal of fortunes. The guy with the butler is hiding under a piano, and the kid from Stoke is the king of pop.
And if you are hooked on this roller coaster of 90s drama and these redemption arcs, make sure you are subscribed. We have so many more stories from the dark side of fame coming up.
But we're not done yet, because we have to talk about the lost years and the paranoia.
Oh, yeah.
Because Robbie wasn't just fighting Gary. At this point, he was fighting everyone.
Which brings us to the Jerry Halliwell connection.
Ginger Spice. They were the ultimate late 90s power couple.
2 refugees from the biggest boy band and girl band in the world.
And they bonded over that shared trauma.
Oh.
But the sources reveal something really sad about why it all ended.
Robbie was convinced she was tipping off the paparazzi.
A photographer literally told him, Jerry called us.
Yeah. Yep. And in his state of mind, he believed it. He broke up with her because he just couldn't trust anyone.
He admits now it wasn't true, that the paparazzi were just messing with him. But it just shows his mental state. Total paranoia.
There's a moment in the 2023 documentary that just hammers this home.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
He's sitting in his bed in his underwear, which is how he spends most of that documentary, by the way.
It really is.
And he's watching old footage. And his daughter, Teddy, she walks in.
Such a candid moment.
It is. And she asks him, who did you hate the most? And without even a pause, Robbie just says, Gary.
It's the honesty that gets you. Just decades later, that's still the instant reflex. Gary.
Because Gary was supposed to have the career that Robbie ended up with.
Exactly. But time heals. Well, some wounds anyway. We have to fast forward to the reconciliation.
Right. Because eventually the ice did thaw.
It started around 2010. Robbie invites Gary to his home in L.A.
And Gary called this meeting an exorcism.
An exorcism. That is such a heavy word.
But it fits, though. They finally admitted they handled Robbie's exit so badly. They let a 21-year-old addict just walk out the door with no support.
And that acknowledgement, that's what allowed them to work together again.
But this is where it gets really interesting. Because now we're in the present, 2025, 2026. Robbie makes his biopic, Better Man.
The monkey movie.
The monkey movie. He portrays himself as a CGI monkey because he felt like a performing animal.
Which is a whole other deep dive.
Yeah.
But he had to send the script to Gary.
Can you just imagine getting that email? Hey, guys, here's the movie about my life where I talk about how much I hated you for like an hour.
So Gary reads it. He calls Robbie, and he says, and this is a direct quote, "Rob, I come off worse than Darth Vader in the first half."
Worse than Darth Vader.
That is quite the review.
But this shows how far they've come.
It does. They're adults now.
And Robbie actually changed the script. He softened the villain edit on Gary. He admits he threw a bunch of other people under the bus, but he protected that relationship.
That's a huge sign of maturity. Which brings us right to today. To take that documentary on Netflix.
This thing is a treasure trove for fans. Apparently, it relies heavily on VHS tapes that Howard Donald has been hoarding for 35 years.
Howard was the archivist. Who knew?
Apparently, there's a scene involving towels.
The towel scene, yes.
Yes.
Mark Owen was apparently mortified they kept it in. The boys just dropped their towel.
Full Monty style.
It adds a bit of levity, but if we look at where they are today, in 2026, the sources say Gary and Robbie are 95% healed.
95%? That's pretty good.
It is. But Robbie also admits there will always be a scar. You can't just erase a decade of that kind of public hatred and private trauma.
Well, they're friends, but the ghost of the 90s is always going to be in the room.
So what does this all mean? We've gone from this toxic hierarchy and Lord of the Flies jealousy
to addiction, public executions on stage, and finally this mature friendship that's built on accountability.
It really is a story about survival.
Yeah.
Both of them had to kind of kill parts of themselves to survive that industry.
And that leads to a final provocative thought to leave you with. Robbie claims that being in a boy band causes mental illness. He cites a 5 out of 5 rate for take, that members suffering from depression, addiction, or suicidal thoughts. Every single one of them.
That is a staggering statistic.
It really is, and it forces you to ask.
Yeah.
Is fame at such a young age really a dream come true? Or is it just inevitably a trauma that takes a whole lifetime to heal?
Something to think about.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.